First thing you should
Hello, Carol. Hello, Susan.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Susan is here, but she's just wandered off for a moment.
Okay. Okay.
It's very cloudy and overcast here. It looks as though it might snow. I hope it doesn't.
Have you had very bad weather, Sheila?
Well, it's been below freezing quite a lot of the time. So, because I live near the end of a cul-de-sac and not much traffic goes by, it does tend to stay icy longer than most places. So I'm very careful because I don't want to fall over.
Okay. So welcome everyone. I'm very excited, very nervous. I can often feel an energy in my stomach of nervousness. And normally the worse the energy is, or the more intense the energy is, rather, the better the work, the better the channeling, the better the reading, the better whatever it is. Um, so, but it's a kind of an uncomfortable, nervous energy. That type of energy you get, people often get before they go for an interview. That kind of pulsating, nervous stomach energy. Um, and definitely it is pulsating. It's kind of vibrating at a certain frequency. So today's date is the 12th of January 2025, and it's 3:10 here, 3:12 here in Ireland. Um, and today's week is week 1, and we are doing the Earth's history. We'll be doing that in a little bit. Dennis has joined us, which I'm very thankful for today. And one of my first questions, my only question really right now, is, and I'd like to go around the group. And so my question is, what is your connection to the Pleiadians, and also other star nations? So I think, Dennis, if we start with you.
Uh, okay. Well, we are all uh, immortal beings, and we are not created. We're not created by the Palladians. We're not created by God. We are fractals of Source. So we are the creators. Uh, so we existed before time and space, and we created time, space, and matter. And we are growing in consciousness, and as we do, so does Source and Creator.
Mm.
And there have been lots of different expressions of beingness, and before there was matter, we expressed ourselves in sound and light and harmonics and played games with that. And then we got into playing with matter, and then we got into the game of being matter, which is living, because we as spirits entered into it. So spirit is not something which is created. Spirit is the creator, and we are spirit. So there is a growing in consciousness. So people are becoming aware of having existed before, and so some remember earlier past lifetimes, and others remember being with different star nations. And so I have some knowingness and recollection of being before any star nation. But I am aware of being in a line of being Andromedan, which was an earlier civilization, people and life experiment before many others. And then the Andromedans seeded the Arcturian civilization, which grew and expanded, and the Arcturian civilization seeded the much younger Pleiadian civilization, peoples, planets, star system. And as a young star nation, the Pleiadians have been very involved in seeding this life. And so how are they involved in that? Well, they are involved in all sorts of creation, but not of us, not of the spirit. So they're involved in the creation of optimizing DNA so consciousness can flourish in it, and working on the planets and indeed on the systems about the planet, so as it is a area which supports life well. And so they have been doing that for a long time. And yeah, so I think that's enough to say on that for now.
Thank you, Dennis. And Susan, so the question.
Oh yes, something more on that. So
Okay.
I can remember some roles I've had in those various societies, and all of them I have been many lifetimes in. I remember going to the Pleiadians first as an ambassador, and then later lifetimes with the Pleiadians, I was in charge of a space fleet which was defending against other nations, particularly the Draco or the reptilians. And I had a command to defend certain areas, and then I took it on myself to go into offensive actions against them, and caused, as commander, massive destruction with the Draco peoples and some of their planet habitats, and that caused a very negative result, a negative spiral, which continued for eons. And it was something which following, I experienced so much shame, guilt, and regret that it caused me to greatly separate from my I amness, from my source connection, and I went in a very destructive cycle, which was allied to the dark for a long time. So, and here I am. I have got back to this space with some of that experience and lessons.
There's a lot there, and I find it very interesting. But we'll talk about that more personally, So, Susan, you're up next. So thank you, Dennis, for sharing that.
So I don't have any personal recollections of anything, but I've been told I've had a couple of different readings, so there's a connection or part Pleiadian, or from there, but that's about it.
Thanks, Susan. I really feel that energy around you. So, and people that are normally drawn to me do have Pleiadian connection. So I've no doubt it's there. And also I'm feeling other energies around you as well. Yeah, I'm feeling that I'm feeling Jesus energy around you and Christ consciousness very strongly. Also, I think it's Lyra or Lyrans. But I've no doubt that a lot more information will come up during this this session or this group. Yeah. Okay, so thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
I also see a lot of light around you, a lot of light. Dennis, would you be okay to turn your camera back on? And Sheila, you're up next. Thank you, Susan. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No. It's just always wonderful to hear anything because it's new. It's not that new, but it's on the much newer end spectrum for me. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, my turn now. Well, I was very interested to hear what Dennis had to say. I can't really add very much about my thoughts in some ways, but I have been told in the past that I had a link with the Andromedans, and I didn't appreciate that they were older than the Pleiadians. I didn't realize that, so I was interested to hear that. I don't have any memories really, but I do feel that I had strong links with Atlantis, and anything that's ever to do with the Pleiadians, I feel I can resonate with. So although I don't really have any definite memories, I do have that feeling that, yes, I've been in existence for I don't know how long, an infinite amount of time. And I feel I've had lots and lots of experiences and lifetimes at different places, but I can't say definitely any particular place. And I don't remember any particular lifetimes. I just have that kind of feeling that, yes, I've got Egypt and Atlantis. Oh, he's gone again. Yes, I think that's it probably. You're playing peepo down there, Dennis. Are you driving or just sitting in a car? Oh, we can't hear because he's on mute.
Sorry, I'm sitting now. I'll be driving soon. There you are.
Oh, right, you'll be driving soon. Oh, okay, right. So I don't think I've got anything else to add. I might think of something later, but that's all for the moment.
Thank you, Sheila. Okay, so let's begin. Just make sure I have everything else closed. Yeah. Dennis, would you be happy to say the I am prayer? Just very quickly.
Yes. The law of one prayer, I will say first. We are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask for the greatest good of all here concerned. I give thanks this is done, it is so. I'll repeat it. We are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask for the greatest good of all here concerned. I give thanks this is done, it is so. And last time, we are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask for the greatest good of all concerned. I give thanks this is done, it is so. And the affirmation shared by Blossom Goodchild. I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So if you could please all mute yourselves, unless it's really important what you have to say, unless there's an urgency with what you have to say, because when I hear noise, it normally brings me out of the channeling. So we're going to start today by doing a meditation, and I'm also going to go with the flow and see what kind of sequence they want. Thank you. Sequence what they want me to do it in. But it is going to start with a meditation, protection, possibly an activation, and then possibly a channeling on our Earth's history, or I might just, yeah, we'll see. So both feet flat on the floor. Breathe. Susan, have you done meditation before? Okay. I know Sheila and Dennis have. Okay, so, and we're also going to call in the Pleiadians, and Ashtar. So the first thing is feet flat on the floor. Visualize a bubble of white golden light for protection completely around you, surrounding you in all directions, above, below, to your left and to your right. in front and behind you, this beautiful ball, circle, auric field of white light that is fully protected in love and light. I'm just going to turn my camera off for a little bit. And both feet flat on the floor. Hands where they're comfortable, her back as straight as you can comfortably be. And breathe in through your nose, down to your belly, and hold it for as long as comfortably possible. And then give a big breathe out, or a sigh or a release through your mouth. And repeat that cycle 2 or 3 or maybe 4 more times, whatever you feel comfortable with. So breathe in through the nose, down to the belly, hold it, and breathe out. It can be forceful or gentle, whichever you prefer. And then visualize, see, sense, feel beings of light with you in your room or where you are now. If you're in a room or a car or a garden, wherever you may be. Beings of love, beings of light. Visualize Jesus, see, sense, feel, touch, smell, an awareness of Jesus, Merlin, Ashtar, Pleiadian commander, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and these beings are in front of you, behind you, to your left and to your right. And as you become more aware of them, you also become aware of others, perhaps to their side of them or behind them. Animal spirit guides, loved ones in spirit. The Syrians, the Lyrans. You may get a sense of other beings, the angelic realm, your own spirit guides, animal spirit guides. You may also get a sense of crystals, of color, or sparks of light, shimmering with a beautiful luminescence, colors. Visualize Jesus putting his hands over your heart, helping to activate your love, frequency, energy, vibration, and your own divine spark of Christ consciousness that is innate within you. And you can continue with your eyes open or your eyes closed. You can come back, or you can stay in this energy as we begin to share some information with you in these sessions. Just nod if you're all okay. Let us expand on that love frequency. So you can do this with your eyes closed or open as you wish. We have said to visualize Jesus and his hands on your heart center, your heart chakra. But you can also visualize us or me, Ashtar. For those of you that may not know what I normally look like, I am tall with long blonde hair, pale skin, thin, and we carry the love frequency innately within us that is magnified or multiplied by what Soma would call 1,000. So you can see me or visualize, get a sense of me behind you with my hands on the back of your heart chakra or the back of your heart area. You may get a sense of, okay, thank you. You may get a sense of this love frequency flowing through you in a spiral shape, or you may see a spiral image or symbol. This also represents DNA. Many of you are born with the love frequency encoded into your DNA in a more advanced way, most especially the starseeds and light workers, the healers, those who are intuitive, awake, aware, and conscious. Welcome for joining us. Angelica. Soma hopes that she pronounced that correctly. Just breathe. Breathe in the light. Breathe in the love. Breathe in the truth. Breathe in your I am presence. Breathe it into you, even though that is what you are. You are the great I am. Pieces, fragments of God's source, pieces of love that have been separated and divided and placed across your planet and in different places, in different countries, in different areas, in different regions, in different states, in different counties. And yet you are here to bring about a great awakening of humanity. We will explain some of your Earth's history in these moments. No doubt we will. Share this again in future channelings. So let us begin in the beginning, or a section of the beginning. We often say, let us begin in the beginning, but it is only one version of a beginning, of one particular beginning. Your history has had many beginnings. You have had many beginnings and many, many thousands of births and new beginnings into physical form, into physical matter, into your physical selves. You have been born again and again and again for thousands of lifetimes. Too many to count, too many for you to know, to be aware of. But let us begin at the beginning. Of your Earth's history. Let us include a previous beginning before that, before we start with that. It will help to bring in some context, perhaps. The creation of God itself in the universe. With nothingness, nothing existed. And yet within nothing, there is always something. Visualize or see just nothing, just black space, empty, void. And this blackness, this void, this nothing, this emptiness, this space slowly began to become aware, as is a natural law. Over millions of years, this emptiness, this space took baby steps in the minutest, smallest of stages. Thank you. And this awareness began to very gradually become aware of itself. Over millions and millions and millions of years. It began to expand, to grow, to multiply, to become aware, to become conscious. And more light grew, more light expanded as the awareness grew, developed, until eventually it turned and looked at itself. You could say it was, or you could imagine it was just little particles of light, separate, and yet connected, knowing, becoming aware of other particles that were not separate, but the same. You could call this God. As the energy intensified and increased, and it became more aware of itself and turned and looked at itself again and again and again, and it turned, each particle turned and looked and each other at the other particles. And as the energy built and intensified, hugely intensified and increased over billions of years, the intensity caused this energy, or God's source, or whatever you wish to call it, the intensity caused this energy to explode. And you could say, thus life began in the universe. We will jump forward a little bit. And from these particles, planets, stars, moons, suns began to form, began to grow, began to develop. And thus the earth was born, not alone, but as part of God's, if you wish to call it that, God's great plan to become more aware of itself, to see what it could create, to see what it could grow, nurture, develop, evolve into, expand on. Your earth was born as a much smaller planet than it is now. As all planets, stars, suns, moons were. Grains of sand in the minutest detail, born from source energy. It does not matter the words you choose to use, it is all the same thing. It is an awareness that was born from nothing. As we were saying, your earth was much smaller. All were much smaller. Sound was born when source turned and looked at itself. Frequency, vibration, energy, consciousness, awakeness, sound and matter go together. You cannot have one without the other. It is a natural law. sound, frequency, vibration, all create matter. And as your earth grew and grew and grew, the suns, the stars, the moons, there have been many shifts and changes of your earth. Some beautiful, some devastating, and many varying degrees within that spectrum of beauty and devastation, the yin and the yang. For everything that exists, there is always an opposite. It is a natural law. It is a natural law. Let us jump forward a little bit. We say that with humor, as we are showing Soma an image of hugely leaping forward. Your oceans were created. The sun, the moon, the stars, all were created on your earth for you to exist, and have been tweaked, adapted, changed, manipulated in a positive way. Many times. Many planets contain or exist life. Humanity is not limited to, or what you would call humanity is not limited to Earth. As the seasons changed, there have been many tweaks to your Earth, both by us and many other positive, what you would call ET light beings. Also the negative ET energies. But we will focus on the positive for now. Your Earth has shifted off its natural axis, not once or twice, but hundreds, if not thousands of times. Again and again, going through its own seasons, its own shifts, its own changes, its own birthing process, which is never painless. Your Earth was adapted, adjusted, tweaked, manipulated in a positive way, as we just said, so that it could allow humanity, allow humanity to exist upon it. Your oceans in the beginning were much less and you could mostly walk around the earth. On land, and then things shifted. Your earth was knocked off its natural axis many times, not just once or twice. And the earth shifted, the land shifted, the oceans expanded, shifted, twisting and turning and moving. Your earth is a living being with its own energy, its own awareness, its own state of consciousness. Growth and expansion is linked to the growth and expansion of your earth is linked to the earth being shifted off its natural axis, where it is, thank you, where it is evolving and de-evolving, evolving and de-evolving again and again and again. Each time reaching a higher state of awareness, a higher state of being, a higher state of frequency, a higher state of consciousness, a higher vibration. And that also is a natural law for everything that exists. Consciousness is born of itself again and again, expanding, evolving, imploding or exploding until the cycle begins again and again and again and again. This is a natural law that is true for everything that exists, not just God's source, or what many of you choose to term God's source. Let us skip forward to the downfall. Well, rather, let us pause there and allow you to ask any questions. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask about what we've just shared with you before we move on?
I do have questions about the polar shifts, but it's not about the history. It's about what we're going through and will be coming to us. So I don't know if
It is relevant. Polar shifts occur. And thank you, Soma, and we would like to say thank you for your question. Polar shifts occur when the Earth is knocked off her natural axis. And in the past, some of these shifts and the Earth being knocked off her natural axis have been deliberate to bring about change, to bring about a changing of the guard, so to speak, to bring about a shift or a devolution of humanity. Your Earth, your universe, your suns, your stars, your moons, your Earth, perhaps more importantly, is much older. so much older than you have been told or led to believe. As we've said, there have been many shifts in the past where your Earth has been knocked off her natural axis. Some deliberately, some trying to come back into balance. But let us speak about the time when your Earth was knocked off its natural axis deliberately by negative ET energies. To cause land shift, to cause devastation, to cause chaotic devolution events, bringing about a great ice age where humans did exist on your planet. As we've said, your Earth, not just your Earth, but humanity itself, is so much older than you've been taught. And some of your science is being exposed for the truth of this and other events, situations, periods in history. Okay, thank you. Your Earth was adapted. There are many stories. Many truths have been shared with you down through the ages, albeit through your television, your movies, that do contain great truth within them. Such as ice ages and land shifting and vast areas of land being covered in ice. Sometimes these appear to be fairy tales or children's fiction, stories, mythology even, that would cover other subjects as well. Your planet has gone through many different cycles of varying temperatures, some natural and some initiated. Many of these lands that, most in particular Antarctica, where there are vast areas of ice and snow cover a multitude of some of your hidden history, some of your true origins. There are UFOs that are laid buried. There are huge caves and caverns and areas and structures and tunnels that lay in some of these places. And in many other areas of your earth, deep underground. Some of these areas have been essential to maintaining humanity upon Earth at times of galactic wars, at times of great floods, at times of the Earth changes, at times of weather and destruction, whether it be natural or ET made. We feel now would be a good time to take a very short break. We are using these sessions to explain on a slower pace, in more detail, some of the previous transmissions and downloads and information that we've shared with Soma. So in these sessions, we will take more time to fully explain, to get intricate, in more detail. This is a time for us to slow down in these Sunday sessions to explain in more detail some of what your history really is, some of where you are now and some of where you are going. We include ourselves within that and many other different star nations, thank you, such as Lyra. So we will slowly cover different topics each week, but we would like to pause there and perhaps take a 5-minute break.
So, yes, so my question was, when the waters, did they come to the surface with the shifting of the earth? Is that how the waters came to be, from the earth pretty much being covered all in land? Is that where the oceans came from?
Thanks for asking that, Susan. I will, that's a question I was saying just now, that's a question that I have asked myself a few times over the years. And so that's a question I would like to ask them and let them come through and see what they say about that. I don't know if that will be today. Hopefully. Yeah. I think that it would be nice if that did come through today, because it is to do with Earth's history. So, yeah, and I've written it down. So what else were you saying?
Oh, about the polar shifts that I saw a short video yesterday about 3 days of darkness, how the earth was deliberately put off its axis and we're going counterclockwise. And I don't know if this is correct, so I'm also bringing it up partly for that reason. And that there are 2 ships out there at each of the axes to correct it and to make it a gradual shift. But it sounds like every time there's a shift, there's such devastation, which is, which is something to think about. And I don't know what there is to do about it, how to handle it individually, as an individual.
Yeah. I think what you're asking is really important, and part of our history. And I think those answers, when they do come through, will give us some perspective of what's really going on in our history, and which includes some of the galactic history as well. And I have to say, I do get a lovely sense of peace with you. Lovely energy of peace and tranquility coming through.
There is some of that, which of course is balanced by other energies. So, but I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
So Angelica, I'm going to ask you the question before asking you any other questions or introducing you. So what did you think of that? I'm not sure how much you heard.
Angelica hasn't got her microphone sorted.
Okay. Thanks, Dennis. Thanks, love. Okay, so we'll pause that for Angelica. Dennis, I know I asked you earlier, but this is recording now, so and I'll ask the same thing to Sheila as well. So what did you think of that?
I thought it was fine. Interesting. There you are.
What did you hear?
Oh, that's a rather no, I'm not going to go into that. If the Palladians or you had something short to say, I might be tempted to answer that question. But when it wasn't short, I ain't going near that question.
Okay.
With regards to water, I would say that our suns are not what we are told or what we think. So the sun produces light. The sun is not a big ball of fire because the sun is constantly producing. Suns are portals, and they are conscious, and they are creating. And the sun is constantly expelling oxygen and hydrogen and DNA. So
That's an interesting one.
yeah.
Dennis is very connected to the suns. Anything else, Dennis?
No.
Okay, darling. And Sheila, what did you think of that? Did you fall asleep? Did you?
You know before I tell you, don't you? It's no good, you see. Once we do the deep breathing, I'm away. And it's very annoying. That's why I always have to listen to the recordings that you sent out. So I'm listening. I'm looking forward to hearing the recording. So I did hear talking about Antarctica, but I think that was probably after we'd actually said we were going to have a break. So I heard about the Antarctica and the caves and the structures there. And I think I've also watched the same things on YouTube as Susan, because I also heard about how the poles of the Earth, the rotation has been changed in the past, and now it's going to be put back to what it ought to be. And I heard about the two spaceships, and I was quite interested that I believe they said that one of these spaceships, it's absolutely massive, and it's going to be under the control of Archangel Michael, and it's going to be used to block out the light from the sun for 3 days. So I didn't really feel we had adequate explanation in that talk as to why the light was going to be blocked off. And I must admit, I did kind of, my mind went on a bit at the time thinking, well, I hope they don't do it when we've got winter time. And then I was thinking, well, I suppose there's always somebody who has winter, because the thing is, if, as they were suggesting, we would lose power and we would lose connection to the internet. Well, I mean, that doesn't sound too drastic when you just think of it like that. But if you think about so many vulnerable people in our community, if they don't have electricity and maybe the internet as well, it's going to be a really dreadful time, life-threatening time for them if it's 3 days without maybe vital electric equipment, because some people need equipment just for breathing or whatever. So I did think about that. I don't know whether that's something that is going to be covered in this series of talks. But yeah, I certainly listened to those same things on YouTube. So I'll have to wait till I've listened to what you send us, Soma, before I can make any constructive comment. I'm very sorry about that. But once you start the deep breathing, I heard about Jesus being at my front and Ashtar at my back. And then I didn't hear any more after that. So I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. I love it when that happens to you, because I always feel, and other people as well. I know Dennis was saying he was asleep earlier, but I love it when that happens, because I've had it when I was in training for the mediumship. I always used to fall asleep, and my understanding of that is that it's allowing that they, whoever they are, positive beings, whether it's the Pleiadians or Jesus, or spirit guides or loved ones in spirit, are taking you deeper into a higher state of awareness to allow you to.
I brought what?
So it allows them to infiltrate is the wrong word, but it allows them to thank you. It allows them to blend and kind of give you information when you're kind of out of your body or so I think it's great when that happens to people. It's a deeper state of it's an
getting rid of the clutter as well.
Yes, quietening the mind and allowing you to step into an altered mind state.
Yes, I think someone hasn't got their sound turned off.
Yes, I think that's Angelica. Thanks, Angelica. Okay, so anything else, Sheila?
Well, no, not really. I welcome having these sessions. It's great. I think it's a wonderful idea. And I don't know what I can do. Maybe either not eat beforehand or sleep beforehand, maybe. I have to think about, because I've tried with the evening sessions to sleep beforehand, and sometimes that helps me to stay awake. But yes, it's a difficult one for me, because it happens to me with other things as well, other groups that I attend, other things. So it's and also I do find it's difficult to meditate on my own, because if I try and meditate, I just go to sleep. So that is an issue which I haven't really worked out.
Yeah, just allow it. Allow yourself to sleep. Because I feel that you are even getting downloads.
Yes. Oh, certainly. Sometimes, if I happen to fall asleep in the chair, I'm sure I'm having downloads and things, because when I come back, I've been so deep, and it's really hard to come back. And then I think, oh yes, I must have been having some sort of a download.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There are some activations and initiations I'd really like to do today, and I'm just gonna. I haven't got to Angelica yet, but I'm just gonna allow those two to see what they want to. My part of my thing at the moment, I guess, and it seems to be really building and building and building. part of my thing at the moment that's building is to wanting to help to and assist to put people into or connect people to some of the higher energies like the Pleiadians. So, and that seems to come about, I feel, and I could be wrong, but I feel that seems to come about by the activations that they do. And I would say that my journey has been slightly different. My path to connecting to them has been slightly different, where I've had a lot of past lives that would have built up to this one, which we all have that. We all have past lives that have built up to this one. But I came in with them. And part of that energy is within me as well, like so many starseeds. So, but anyway, so part of my thing at the moment is wanting to assist people to activate their own connection to the Pleiadians so that they can channel, they can sit down and have that connection and to build it and work on it, because everything, you know, our relationships, whether they be with the Pleiadians or Jesus or Mother Mary or even the physical relationships with our mum and partners, you know, it all starts somewhere. It all starts with a meeting or a sentence or a few words or whatever. But Angelica, would you like to, I don't know, do you have, yeah, you do have sound. Okay, so what did you think of that, what you heard? Because I know you came in during some section of it. And also,
Yeah, can you hear me now?
we can.
Ah, brilliant. Yeah, sorry, I'm, first of all, I have to say, I'm completely all new to this. I guess I'm just curious. I thought it was all really interesting. Yeah, but I'm a newbie. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
What do you know what drew you to me?
Oh gosh. Yeah. I recently I read a book on past life regressions, and I stumbled over your YouTube channel, and I think you've written a book as well, which I thought I was going to read. And then, you know, I just watched you a few times on YouTube, and I thought, yeah, I'm just going to sign up. So it's literally that.
It's lovely how life just flows when things are put into place, and we find the teachers we need, whether they're, you know, YouTube videos or books or connections. Yeah, it's lovely when things just show up.
Yeah, I suppose so. I guess everything happens for a reason. And yeah, I guess what I'm trying to find out is I'm trying to find the truth and I guess heal and progress. Yeah, that's where I'm coming from, really.
Thank you, Angelica. And the question I asked everyone today was, what is your connection to the Pleiadians and star nations?
Oh, you see, I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I would hope there would be one, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you that really. But yeah, I'm just here to learn and yeah, to learn as much as I can and see where it takes me.
Lovely. Okay. Thank you all for being here. What else do I need to say? Okay, I think that's it. I've started to get some information on the activation. So when you're ready, Dennis, are you still driving, or have you stopped the car?
I've stopped.
Okay. Okay, so let's do some activations. I might do this with my eyes open. I'm not sure. They usually get me to close. Okay. So you can close your eyes if you want to. So this you could call it an activation or an initiation. Let me just put my camera off for a second. Okay, so let us begin with this activation, initiation. Visualize. And you can do this with your eyes open or closed as you wish. You can do some breathing meditation techniques if you wish. But visualize love around you, whether it's in a form of a heart shape or a feeling. Just visualize the frequency of love. Whatever that looks like to you. And then put your hands up to your heart chakra. And you can have eyes open or closed, as we said. So put both hands up, covering your heart area. And visualize Ashtar in front of you. And Jesus behind. Merlin to your left. Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene to your right. It is interesting that so many of your, what is the word we're looking for? Gurus, spiritual masters, have taken the form of the male energy. And there are very few or a lesser known of the female spiritual masters or deities in the form of living beings. There seems to be an imbalance there between the male and the female. Which is more evident in different ways. And forgive us for veering off the subject there. But actually it is about balance in the heart center between the male, between the male and the female, or in terms of color, between the green and the pink, which represent the male and the female. We could also use the yin and yang symbol, or the double helix symbol. Balance, 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 balance. With everything, with male and female energy in your heart chakra, balance between negative and positive, balance between light and dark. Every point meeting in your heart center. What you choose to express is really up to you. There is a very somewhat well-known story about two wolves, and one is positive and one is negative. And it is up to you which you feed. Which do you choose to feed and grow and expand? It could also be said in other words or other religions in terms of stepping into your own Buddha nature or your divine I am presence. There are many ways in which we could word this, but it all comes back to love and balance. And who do you choose to be? We know we have slightly veered off the activation there, but it is important in what you want to express and how you choose to be, how you wish to show up to others, to yourselves, in your lives, to your neighbors, to your work colleagues, to your partners, to your lovers, to your mothers, to your fathers, to your children. Stress also has an aspect to that. So when you feel overwhelmed or overstressed or overworked or overtired, overwhelmed, overstimulated, find your heart center, find your peace. So place your hands over your heart chakra and thank you. Visualize a blue ball of light coming towards you. We, most especially Ashtar, give you this blue ball, which is electric blue. It could look a little bit, we could describe it as looking a little bit like electricity, which is one of the reasons why we call it an electric blue ball. To Soma, this has great significance in times of Egypt, but we will talk about that another time. So for this activation and initiation, see, feel, sense, smell, taste even. Us giving you a blue ball of love, of light, of energy, of vibration. This energy contains us. It contains our energy, our frequency, our DNA, our consciousness, our awareness. It is a direct link, a direct, conduit to us. Visualize Ashtar directly in front of you, so much so that you could reach out and touch him easily within distance. Tall, blonde, blue eyes, pale skin, a beautiful face, a beautiful being, a beautiful image of love, emanating love. And he is giving this blue ball to you and placing it into your heart. And this blue ball contains many, many codes, activations, and initiations. It is not just a blue ball of electric blue color. It is a frequency. It is an activator. It is a technique. It is a method that you can use again and again to connect with us, to connect with Ashtar. It contains codes, frequencies, symbols, upgrades, downloads, transmissions. Some of which you may become conscious of, but we guarantee hundreds that you will not or may not become conscious of very subtle frequency code, even DNA structures, to help to upgrade, download, transmission directly to you, most especially those here with us now in this time. Let us incorporate something or add something to that to give you. Humanity is funny. Humans are funny because we always feel that you need proof or evidence of. Most especially in science. So let us incorporate something that we feel may, or you may feel that would benefit you. So taking that blue ball, which contains so much information and so much frequency and so much vibration, that it is pulsating and emanating an energy of us, but it is not limited to our energy. Let us call it a ball of wisdom or knowledge or understanding of an aspect of consciousness itself, an aspect of our consciousness itself. We give you this blue ball. And if you place your hands going out, so the backs of your hands are facing towards your shoulders. And you can do this with your eyes open or closed. It does not really matter. Visualize that ball in the center of your palm chakras, and visualize at the same time that energy. Okay, thanks. Visualize first the circle of you who are here now, being Soma, Dennis, Sheila, Susan, Angelica. Visualize yourselves in a circle where you are holding hands. You can take a step or two forward to make the circle closer in proximity, closer in energy, closer in vibration, closer in closer in frequency. And you can put your hands out. You can also visualize. Okay. So we are showing Soma an image, as we so often do when we are also giving her transmissions and downloads. We show images to her that sometimes contain more information than the telepathic communication, which is what channeling is. So we are showing her an image of the circle that you are all holding hands in. And then you can step forward out of your body, and you can place, so you are on the outside of the circle and also inside. So you are in two places simultaneously within this circle. So you are holding hands on the outside, and then you can step forward kind of out of your body, and you can place your hands in front of you in this visualization or activation. And then just imagine this blue ball in the palm of your hands, in your palm chakras. And you are emanating this energy, this frequency, this download to each other. And you can move it around the circle. So you can go to Sheila, Soma, Susan, Angelica, and Dennis. And then you can also visualize a step further, or a further technique, or visualizing yourself in the center, as well as the two spaces or the two beings behind you, which is you. And you can send this energy to that person in the circle, which is you, or the people surrounding. We will pause there as we feel that this is enough for now, and we don't want to overload you. Or work with this, thank you, or work with this energy too quickly. Ashtal wishes to give you a gift, each of you individually. So see him in front of you. And as you place your hands out to receive this gift, he will place this gift in your hands. As you look at this gift, giving thanks and appreciation, as you look at the color, the shape, bring it to your heart center, allowing you to take it into your very cells, allowing yourself to take it into your subconscious mind, to a deeper level of your very being. We will pause there. We will take a break for a few moments. If you need to use the bathroom, if you need to get refreshments, now is perfect timing.
I ask a question. So the gift, was that the blue ball or this is something else? Because
It was something else. It was something extra.
Okay.
And don't worry if you didn't see it. It was still given. So with regards to some of the questions about the 3 days of darkness and the ships blocking out the sun, and also where did the water come from? My feeling is with the water that it was created to in terms of a reset, to cover over oh okay, so I'm going to go into a channeling and answer some of that question in a more deeper way. So sometimes they come in with such a sense of humor that it makes me laugh, really like a belly laugh. So and okay, so let us begin again. we love that phrase of beginning again, because there is so many aspects of so many times in your history as well as ours, not to mention universal and cosmic history of new beginnings and new beginnings and new beginnings and new beginnings and new beginnings. So when we say that we are going to start at the beginning, it is only one section of a beginning. You were asking a question earlier of the water on your planet. And we've not really, let us take out those words, not really. Although we have subconsciously shared with Soma about the water and how it was created. What was making her laugh was our statement, our telepathic words of, do you really think that the governments are the first to create changes in your weather, the first to create clouds and cloud seeding and geoengineering? They are not the first. This is what was making Soma laugh. The fact that we are now sharing more information through her, with her, to you, with you, for you, to help you understand and evolve at quite some rapid space or place, a rapid leap forward of humanity, which is occurring simultaneously in processes where you are waking up again and again and again to new information, new energy, new frequency, new sound, new vibration within you, which is taking you forward and creating an evolutionary leap forward. Again and again and again and again, within and throughout your lifetime. Now, this is why you are here. And so we will say again, we will repeat ourselves, your governments and other groups, organizations, institutions, even companies, most certainly, are not the first ones to create, to change, to manipulate, adapt your weather systems, cloud seeding, geoengineering. They are not the first. We have done this before. And most definitely, the negative ET agendas have done this before. The negative ET beings have done this before. Your world has shifted and changed and reset many times, as we were speaking of earlier. There was a time in your history where water was created by negative influences, negative ET energies, to rain down water. This has happened more than once in your history. Sometimes known as the Great Flood or the Great Floods, or even Tartaria could be included within this. Water was created on a vast scale to rain down to disconnect you from each other so that you could not walk mostly around the earth. As a division, it was created. It was also most certainly created to cover your true history. To cover huge temples, monuments, structures, buildings, even technology, devices, objects, to cover these, to hide them from you, to distort, change, manipulate, lie about your past. There are what you would call UFOs laying in many places upon your earth, beneath vast amounts of water, and many that are also more shallow and contain less water. Water was created, oceans were rained down into to change your history, to give you a false history, a false narrative, a false understanding, a misunderstanding. To disconnect you from each other, where you could no longer walk upon the surface and the land of your earth, of your planet. Barriers, huge barriers were created. We've said that monuments, temples, structures, buildings, caves, caverns as well were covered over. But many animals and other beings have also been covered over. And lost. We will pause there.
Up to everyone else. It's now up to everyone else to recognize that, I suppose, and open themselves up to it. Is that sort of in line with what you're thinking as well?
It is. It is. So when COVID kicked off, I went into the garden and channeled them because I had a lot of anxiety around it, a lot of fear. And I hadn't channeled them for a while. So I went into the garden mostly to calm myself down. And I received a lot of information and downloads and transmissions about a lot of different things and what was really going on. And basically they said that that it's an evolutionary period with many different aspects to it, and that we are waking up. And they called it the last battle. And there's been many battles since day one, when Earth was invaded by these negative beings, and the universe is teeming with life. There are planets out there very similar to Earth that have also been, I'm not sure if you heard this earlier, but I will send you the recording, that have also there are other planets out there that similar to Earth that have also been adapted to allow humanity to exist upon it. So Earth is not the only creation where humanity or very similar beings to humanity exist. And then, of course, there are many other Star Nation beings that exist in very physical ways, and some that are more in higher dimensions, some that walk between. And many of those Star Nations have created other beings. And I was told that the Pleiadians created us in their own likeness, created humanity in their own likeness. And the universe is teeming with life, both Star Nations and Star Nations, or so ET races that are positive and negative, and all of those have created other life forms, whether it's humans or animals or dinosaurs or and varying in between, half horse, half man, reptilian beings, beings that were designed well, that were created well, and beings that were created not so well. So mistakes were made, mistakes have been made. And it is well known now that humanity is doing that itself. When you go, that leads into the subject of Area 51, where scientists on Earth are creating, I don't know, let's use the words hybrids, or creating Dolly the sheep, or well, that's more cloning, but there's many experiments in Area 51 that I've seen where there are Frankenstein type experiments, but that's more of the darker side of the negative agenda and Area 51. But we've been lied to on such a mass scale that it's no wonder that we disbelieve so much of this information that I'm sharing with you and others. But and always in the beginning, there's no physical proof, or the physical proof is hidden. But that is being found and discovered more and more and more. And giants were also created, dinosaurs were created, dragons were created. And often these beings come from or go back to higher dimensions, like Sasquatch, or walk in between, like dragons and giants, and that they've said are still in existence. They haven't been wiped out, not completely. And I've seen them very specifically in northern Scotland, in the very rural areas that are not where people just don't live. And I've seen them underground. I've seen them coming out. I've seen them very physically, with long red hair, just huge giants, very peaceful. There was one in particular, male giant, that I saw in a channeling, that is very loving and wouldn't hurt a fly. No matter what was done to him, he wouldn't retaliate or step into a lower frequency. So Yeah, there's just like it's Pandora's box, it's opening that box. And yes, there's a lot of negativity in it, but there is a positive outcome. Dennis, is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
such
This creation thing needs clarifying. It's like it's just so important to realize the Pleiadians, the
Dennis,
Anunnaki
darling,
had
will you
no.
put your camera on?
So whether it is Pleiadians or reptilians or Anunnaki, or whether there's no race that is involved in the creation of us. It's as ridiculous as saying our mother and father created us. We are not created by our parents. We all have a father, we all have a mother, and these biological entities engage in physical intercourse. There's a sharing of cells which join, and there is a forming of a life there, and that's not us. This is the creation of a body. We're immortal beings. So then we're choosing to come into this vessel that has been created. So I just, it's so important to bring that understanding into it, with people's language when they say, we're involved in creating bodies or races or persons. They're talking about the vessel in some way, that they were intermediaries or they intervened or they adapted it. And that's not us. I don't identify as my body. So
I think I'll pause there a second because I think what you're saying is really important. And I don't disagree at all. I think perhaps it's just my choice of words. But I totally agree with everything you've said. So do carry on.
well, that's the major point. So I think there is a reason that star races engage with uh, developing a race and peoples, and it's possibly in our own destiny that we will manage growing peoples and civilizations in the future. And we may be involved in putting in adaptations in their environment or in their bodies so as they can have more potential or better life. All that is possible. But that is what is happening, that there is a vessel created, however it is done, whether it is being done in test tubes or through bodies or through magic. And then what happens is there is an individuated fractal of source which is connected to all in divinity, which chooses to come in to this space and to animate it and to own it and to then be involved in its creation and management and adventures. And that's us. That's not created, not by anything or anyone, not by God, not created.
Another
All
way,
right.
another way to describe it is to say that the physical human vessels are created, and that they are at the time of birth, then a soul enters or a spirit enters, and that spirit or soul could be from anywhere. And that it is also part of God's source, or the divine I am, whatever you want to call that consciousness or awakeness or soul or spirit. I think that's another way to look at it, or not to look at it, but to just use different words to describe the same thing.
Yeah.
But why do we forget who we once were? And that doesn't make that seems counterproductive to me.
Well, there's two answers that I could explain. So one is that the first one is that there was a veil of amnesia placed around the earth. And when I see that image, or when I talk about that, I see an image of the earth and kind of grids of what is that pattern called? The flower of life, the flower of light, like a grid pattern around the earth where there was a very physical or a higher dimensional negative technology placed. So technology used in a negative way that is on a higher dimension placed around the earth that caused us to forget. It's also linked to the earth shifting off its natural axis, which has a direct, in my understanding, has a direct connection to us losing our memory, because things became, what is the word? Became, what is that word when you're drunk and you go dizzy? Things became dizzy, and we could no longer see and focus and remember, which is very linked to Atlantis. We lost our memories, we lost our galactic connections, all of us had the ability to channel. We were on a higher dimension, a higher consciousness, a higher awareness, and due to the tampering of our DNA at that time, we began to lose our memories. We began to lose our connection to beings like the Pleiadians, and also what they've said, another aspect of that is that which is linked to our DNA and our galactic memories. So when our DNA was changed, we were no longer able to hold longer memories within our physical beings, within our structure, because our DNA had been changed. So we were no longer operating at a higher level and able to remember vast distances, vast times. We were no longer able to connect with beings like the Pleiadians and other star nations. Everything was changed and twisted. So we lost so many things. We lost so many things. And one of them was the ability to remember who we are, why we're here, where we're from. But also an added aspect of that is that the human body, due to the devolving and manipulation of the DNA, was no longer able to, and they're also saying that we are, that is we're changing, we're adapting back to that. So, but our physical vessels should, if we, because of the adapted DNA, our physical vessels are not able to contain the vast amounts of connection, information, history, knowledge, awareness, including the memories of past lives. And we've had thousands of them. So our physical vessels, if they were to remember, and some of us do remember our past lives as children, so we are no longer able to, because the physical body has been changed. It was no longer able to withhold the memories, because it would it would cause it to defrazzle or spark out or blow up or implode or explode. The physical vessel cannot, due to, thank you, that's a better way to word it. The physical vessel can no longer, or was no longer able to contain that higher level of awareness and understanding due to the change of DNA. Because it would cause it to, they often use the example, thank you, of where a plug is put into a socket. And sometimes if it's put into too quickly, it can blow and frazzle. And that is very linked to Kundalini as well. So that sometimes that can happen. But does that answer your question?
Yes, it does somewhat, but I'm wondering, when you choose to get reborn, and you choose that body, you probably at that point in time, and I might be wrong, fully know that you will lose all the knowledge that you have prior to getting reborn, and then you spend an awful lot of time during your life trying to find what your mission is, and then I don't know. It all seems so strange.
Before we get to that, Angela, that's a great question. I think Dennis wants to say something.
Yeah, it is a great question. I think that after death, that we are not free at present, or haven't been for a while, to enter into full freedom or consciousness. So I think there is something about the earth where it is controlled or some way trapped, that we that there's a recycling here that isn't fully conscious. But outside of that, that's something that's just it's kind of a cosmic situation in this part of the galaxy at the moment, and I believe it is due to change sometime very soon. But outside of that, the principal reason why we forget is because we chose it. Because if you go into a game knowing that you're immortal, knowing because of your connection to your conscious connection to all that is source and the divine, that you can manifest anything, can you see the problems that poses to playing a game or having an experience when you can't fail and you can't die? So we limited ourselves. We agreed to this. This is our plan. This is our design, so as we would have a greater experience, so as we could experience all the emotions the same way as we go to a horror film, so as we would have excitement, because there was an opportunity to lose, there was risk. When we put ourselves into this condition of having limited our consciousness, of having amnesia. So we created that. And then something along the way, it did get hijacked, or we got tricked, and the thing got stuck. It got fixed. So at the moment, it needs to get unfixed or unstuck so people can make some other choices without, you know. And something else then I will say is another reason why there is such forgetfulness is because we are immortal beings. We've had many life cycles on this planet alone, leaving outside of others. And this one is very demanding because there is full free will in this choice, which means there is absolute opportunity to go absolutely against the light and to do which is destructive to self and others. And we have been engaged in lifetimes for so long. One of the great reasons why there is this amnesia is because I believe in the in-between life cycle, where we get to judge ourselves without having a full connection to source because of the type of entrapment that is here in this part of the cosmos at the moment, which there is a lot of work to change and free up. We get to judge ourselves, and we see all our lives, and so there is a predominance of, with the wrongs that we have done and the hurts that we have done, of shame, guilt, and regret. And that allows people to agree to lessening their power and lessening their knowingness, and putting themselves into very painful situations over and over again. So a key to unlocking this trap that we are in is compassion, and probably the greatest and most needed weapon in this or the most important, I said weapon, the most important tool is forgiveness. Forgiveness of ourselves to ourselves for what we have done that we can't remember. Because that is what buries us and hurts us more than what has been done to us.
Thank you, Dennis. It feels very much like you were channeling, and it feels very much that was the perfect answer. I really resonate with that. And we lost Angelica there for a few minutes, but I will send the recording out so you guys won't miss anything. I'll also send it out to the other people that have paid to attend but were not able to for different circumstances. And I will also share it to the people that have paid good money for the Substack, for my Substack. And I also want to let you know that I do personal channeling sessions, and they are €177, 77 cents. And they are also half price when you subscribe to my Substack for the year. So they're €88 instead of the 177 when you subscribe to my Substack. I also have some other things to mention, which is I have a weekly channeling group, Saturdays, 7 p.m. Irish time. If you'd like to join that, send me an email at thepleiadianchild@hotmail.com. My website is somaara.love. My Substack is somaara. Please do come and join that. Free monthly or yearly. If you join the year, you get a lot of you get half price readings on every reading. So with that said, is there anything, like I could talk to you guys for another hour, at least. Is there anything you'd like to share? Angelica? Susan? Sorry.
I do have a question, and it's really probably a far afield of
Oh, please do.
the point of this, but you both mentioned, you and Dennis mentioned the fires, and my son is actually flying back to LA. He's been there for a few months, and he's right next to near the original one. But anyway, I just wanted to know if there's anything quickly about the scope of it, or anything other than they were caused by other beings.
The
Yeah.
fires?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't remember mentioning the fires. But my feeling, and I think that came up yesterday in the channeling, and it would be great if both you guys could join, Susan and Angelica, to the weekly channelings. But last night they did say something about the fires, and because Dennis and Sheila are already part of that group. But last night they did say something about the fires, and I think they said about it being in order to create, about it being created in order to create a cover up of land, or not land, but tunnels being exposed, and that's definitely a sense I get with it. When I look at some of those houses in my mind's eye, when I picture them, I can see tunnels that they've been talking about since I was a child, and I never realized until COVID what those tunnels actually were for, which makes me go cold. You know, that for so long they told me about tunnels beneath the earth. One in particular they showed me as a child that goes from the west coast of Ireland, Mayo somewhere, I'm not sure where, but I've seen it as a child, and it's goes from Mayo somewhere in Ireland, and it goes all the way to America, beneath the ocean bed floor, and it's walkable. But I never realized what those tunnels were for, which does leave me cold. So I know we're going over time a little bit, but that's fine.
Thank you.
But no, Susan, I think what you're asking is so important, and there's many areas on this planet that are sacred areas that hide numerous caves, tunnels, artifacts, columns, pyramids, even. And there's a lot of those things in America. But there's also minerals as well, which were in one of a more recent, I think it was Hurricane Helena. I think that was to do with minerals, or a similar event around that time that was created by the negative agenda and politicians. But I feel that I feel it will come to light, and I feel horrified when I see images of water being so near the fire, and also knowing that they can create rain, they can create water. So those fires could be put out in within hours. And I think that is just there's an evilness on this planet that is inhumane, that doesn't come from here, which is negative ET energy that has been ruling all our systems on Earth for far too long. And I think that things are coming to light, and I think information will come out about those fires, who created them, why, what they were really doing. And we can't, our consciousness can't raise if things are not exposed. But Dennis, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I think the truth of the cause of those fires is very ugly, but I think it's going to bring a lot of people together. I think it's going to it's bringing in increase in compassion and service to so many Americans. So I think it is going to end up strengthening California and America. But the plan of it is to weaken it and destroy it.
And the White House,
I sure most
they're allowing this because it's part of a bigger. Can you hear me now?
I can, yes.
Can you hear? Okay.
Yes.
Did you not hear my
Yes.
question?
I wasn't, but the last bit of it explained it,
Okay.
how is this allowed or why is it allowed?
Yeah.
Um, I don't believe there was any reason to allow it, but in a very real way, there is a war going on. It's not just some people dismiss it as a theater and it's all one, and I can understand how in some respects that might be. But it's very much playing out in time and space and this density, and that there are more battles ahead, and there's going to be more suffering and losses. So we are very much engaged in that struggle, you know. We all have the experience of having life being more challenging or difficult than it should be, and losing people to conditions of health that shouldn't be happening. It's happening all around us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, here we are. There is tyrannies that are already engaged on this planet and have been for a long time. That is not new. People are now becoming more aware of it. That there are powers greater than presidents and prime ministers, and these have a very direct influence on our planet in all sorts of ways: finance and health and education. And now, at a small level, people are going to realize how negligent the political administration in the state has been, and not managing forests well, and not supporting fire officers, and not being responsible about making water available. And so there are these errors, and are they errors or are they planned? I personally think these are planned failures, but the evil of it goes beyond that. So, it's not a matter of negligence. So here we are, planet Earth. Light and dark play out against each other. Choose your side, choose your responses.
Yeah, choose your which wolf you're going to feed. Choose. Choose. It's a time of choice. It really is a time of choice.
I lost your transmission, so I'll catch at the very end, so I'll catch the replay for just a minute. There was a very good video I saw, very short, and this guy speaks about, he sets up the whole scenario as to, you know, on one level, on the 3D level, how it was orchestrated for this event to take place. He did an excellent job. He's Victor Davis Hanson on the Daily Signal. And in just a few minutes, he lays it all out on the 3D level. So.
Can you just say that name again, Susan, for people listening?
Yes.
In the future.
It's on YouTube, the Daily Signal, and it's called Newsom's Palisade Fires. Get that? Did that come through?
No, it didn't. Newsom's.
Okay, let me shut my video. Newsom's Palisade Fires. The channel on YouTube is the Daily Signal.
That came through.
Good. And it's just 7 minutes or 8 minutes, and he did a brilliant job. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. There's no stopping of consciousness and people sharing and uniting and coming together. It's incredible. The leaps forward we've made since 2019, when COVID kicked off in the UK at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just incredible how far we've actually come in a short number of 4 or 5 years, with the information that we're now much more aware of, myself included, you know, and our journey doesn't stop. We don't just wake up and then that's it. We wake up to new information and new awareness and new consciousness and new energy every day. We're waking up to something new that we haven't heard before, whether it's in a download or whether it's watching a YouTube video. There's so much information out there that when I was growing up, or even 5 years ago, would have been called crazy and conspiracy theory, and now there's more proof than ever in all subjects. There's more proof coming to light all the time, and I really could talk to you guys for hours, but
yeah, we'll go.
No. I was going to ask, is there anything else you guys would like to say or share, or a prayer or anything? And also, who would like to attend next week?
Yeah, I enjoyed this very much. I didn't look at the list of the topics, but I think I was intrigued by all of them. Yeah.
No, I'll come next week. But actually, I think I would prefer it to finish a little bit earlier, because it's now 6:15. It's a bit late.
Same. I'll probably be there next week as well. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, it's lovely to speak to people who are interested in similar things.
Yeah, it really is. I've thoroughly enjoyed it today, and I know you were saying before, Sheila, that you couldn't make the weekly, but
I can't make the Sundays in February.
yes. And I think this finishes, it's 17 weeks, so it ends in, I think it's the 1st or 2nd of May. I think it's the first week on the May.
It was May 4th.
because I
May
had just
4th.
looked it up.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Susan. Yeah.
Yeah, there will be some I have to miss, but I can always listen when you send it out again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Dennis, will you be joining us next week?
Hopefully not.
We like your contributions, Dennis. Please
Oh,
come.
thank you. Thank you. I hope you're busy and getting paid.
Us or you?
Mm.
Us or you?
Hmm?
Us or you?
Me.
Okay. Okay. Lovelies. So I'm going to go and have some roast chicken. And thank you so much for all of you for joining today. And I hope to see all of you, Dennis, Angelica,
Yes. Oh.
Sheila. I know you can't be here next week, but I look forward to seeing everyone next week.
Oh, I will be here. I'll be here next week. It's once we get into February, I can't come.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I can do 3. So I'm just looking at. I've got them marked on my diet calendar. I can do three Sundays in January.
Okay.
3
Yeah.
Sundays in January, and then there are 4 Sundays in February that I can't do.
Okay.
Never
And
mind, I can catch up.
yeah, yeah. I'll make sure that you get those recordings for the weeks you can't be here.
Yeah.
But also, if there are friends that you think might enjoy these sessions, then do send them a link, and you know, if they want to join, they can. Okay. Anything else, anyone? Dennis, do you want to say a prayer before leaving?
It's a short prayer. Bye bye. Amen.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye bye then.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.